Known as the biggest town you'll ever experience, with its unique historical background, Tulsa is home to a diverse range of people and businesses with a thriving economy, delicious eats, nightlife, and entertainment for all ages. Tulsa is also home to business titans, entrepreneurs, artists, and foodies. Whether you're considering a move to Tulsa or just wanting to learn more about the place you call home, the Tulsa is Home podcast is for you.
Today's episode is sponsored by Tulsa Daily. Now, if you don't know what Tulsa Daily is, then you're missing out. It's a newsletter about all things Tulsa delivered to your inbox every weekday, from community events and developments to local concerts and new restaurants. This newsletter is the perfect place to find out what's going on in Tulsa. I personally incorporated the Tulsa Daily newsletter in my morning routine well before they became a show sponsor, so I'm excited we get to work together on this. There's a link in the show notes to take you to a simple sign-up form. Stop missing out. Sign up today. Welcome to another episode of the Tulsa is Home podcast. Today we get to sit down with Jared Conway with Tom James. And so he's been with them for 14 years. Is that right?
That's right.
And so he's just as a professional clothier. And did I say that correctly?
Well, you did.
Okay.
Yes.
I think you were the first person that I've met in that industry. And so I appreciate you. When I first experienced your service, it was phenomenal. Customer service was great. The product was phenomenal. I'm actually wearing the shirt right now that you did, and I had extra custom embroidery there.
That's right.
And so the whole experience was great. And so as we jump into the interview, I really want to hit on how you got started, and first, before you get into that, a little bit about yourself personally, family, and all that stuff.
Well, as you know, I've been in Tulsa for about 14 years and with Tom James for about the same amount of time. So moved here, was single. Now I have a wife, Catherine, and we have two boys, Baker and Burke. Baker's in kindergarten and Burke is in pre-K. So that's a little bit about me. What else would you like to know?
When were you first introduced to either the industry or Tom James as a company?
As the industry, I really didn't work in the clothing industry in college or high school. What happened was I was just more exposed to, my dad wore a shirt and tie to work every day. And I knew the level of clothing that he dressed, but he always just went to a department store. And I never knew about Tom James until I had a few friends that came to work for our company. So as I was still in school and saw them developing their careers and relationships with clients, I thought, well, that's just a really unique way for the client to purchase clothing, but also for me as if I were to come to work for Tom James to serve others. And I always enjoyed serving others in various capacities and roles that I had in college and otherwise, and even personally, just through the churches I went to. But so it was just kind of a multitude of things that brought me to Tom James. And here we are today. It's been a great ride. And that's still going back to some of the original reasons I came here, was to help people. And I feel like it's great to be able to solve a problem for a client when they come to us and they don't have the fit that they're looking for. They're struggling to find the right pattern or color, or maybe they're just unhappy with the service they've received in the past and the follow-up from the number of places they've gone. To be able to solve some of those problems is really fulfilling. And to see that develop into a relationship over time with a client and be their go-to provider for clothing and related services, it's really just a treat and an honor. So
awesome. So you kind of mentioned a little bit on the type of person or situation, but who would you say your ideal customer is to where they could really, really benefit from your services?
Someone who's in an executive role is kind of historically who we would serve the most, and the boardroom setting, if you will. But now it's really expanded. I work with a lot of my clients' spouses who, maybe they stay at home, but they still go to nice events and they want something nice for that event to go to. So, if someone's just participating in philanthropy even, they may not be working in a boardroom setting, but they could still take advantage of our services and we could help them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what is it the most that you enjoy about it?
Well, the diversity of the clientele that I get to serve is fantastic. It's I don't think there's anything else that I could do personally to get to meet such a variety of folks that I do on a general or annual basis. And so that's just really amazing getting to see clients in their space, whether I meet them at their office like you and I did, or if I meet them at their home. And I usually get to see 1 or 2 closets a day. I mean, when else would you go and see someone's closet? That's the most personal space. So I kind of take it for granted now after doing it for so long. But just standing in someone's closet, looking at their wardrobe, having that discussion about how do they want things to look, how do they want them to feel, what do they like and not like about what they currently have, and then how do we make a plan going forward? And through that, developing that friendship potentially over a long period of time is pretty amazing, really. I couldn't iterate that enough or articulate how thankful I am to have that chance.
Awesome. So, and also you touched a little bit on how kind of those interview questions from an initial consult, your existing wardrobe, how do you use your clothing as far as what types of things you're going to be doing in them. So that kind of kicks off that process. Walk our viewers through those next steps and what it looks like to order through you.
Yeah, it's kind of like custom ordering a vehicle. If you pick it out with your consultant and go through what's your vision of what you want it to look like and how do you want the seats to look and feel and the performance to be. And it's kind of the same with clothing, really. It's how do I want to look and feel, and do we need to get into some of the details and the fine tuning? We certainly can, and we can get down to the smallest detail if you'd like, and then to make a plan like you're talking about going forward with what do you want your wardrobe to become over the next couple of years, and how can I help with that? So whether that's business professional, business casual, formal, casual wear, any aspect of the clothing we can help with. It's just a matter of getting that guidance from the client of what they want it to look like.
So it's really a long-term relationship, a long-term connection to where you're continually kind of rotating in or slowly. I'm sure you've had some guys just come in and maybe change their whole closet, but I could see probably more so of people coming in and kind of just slowly over time ordering more and getting rid of the stuff that they don't necessarily get joy from, and slowly upgrading.
That's right.
Their clothes. And yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, unless you have a major event, disaster, and all of your wardrobe gets wiped out, which I've experienced that with a couple of clients, but that's pretty rare. Usually, you're right. It's a process and it takes time to build, and plus styles change, and we're always chasing what's the latest and greatest. But then also, some clients like to stay down the fairway and they want to just keep it really simple. And so we can do that too. It's just whatever the client would like us to do. And the discovery questions are really what helps us uncover that in the beginning. But then over time, we'll adjust. So.
And then what kind of clothing do you offer? Is it all formal?
Well, we can do formal.
Little formal? So kind of explain all those differences.
Yeah, so the difference is, if you're looking at what is formal wear, typically for men, a tuxedo, for women, it's some kind of a gown, an evening gown. We do outerwear, so top coats, overcoats, and trickling down to the more casual things. You, of course, got suits and sport coats for men and jackets and suits for women. But then on the men's side, we can do custom jeans. We can do, casual nylon pants for maybe you're playing golf or you're just, out and about running errands, right? So pretty much every kind of clothing, and we carry a full line of accessories, shoes and belts, and all the other casual things that someone might need. On the women's side, same thing: custom jeans, shoes, some handbags. So pretty wide variety of
handbags.
Anything.
I hadn't thought about the handbags.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah. Well, maybe your wife would like one of those.
I'm sure she would.
So yeah, pretty much anything.
With her, yeah.
Anything you'd see in a store or online, we can provide.
So that's, even sitting here with you, having gone through that, there's still some of those things that, I didn't realize that you offered. So, and then, is there anything in particular that you really want viewers to know about your service? Do you get frequently asked questions, or can I address anything that comes to your mind?
Yeah, well, there's a number of questions that can come up. The biggest one is always fit. How is this going to fit? And the best response to that is, how would you like it to fit? And we really just want to tailor the experience and the actual garment to the client. It's always going to take a little bit longer than shopping off the rack, of course. We're going to build that garment for your measurements. And so that's usually the first question. The second is cost. I mean, that's always, the biggest question, if you're making a big purchase in life, right? So, it's more than some off the rack clothing stores or brands, but it's less than others. So, as far as price, there's a huge variety of price points that we can work in. And that's always a big question. But, generally anymore, it's hard to find a nice suit for men or women under $1,000, especially custom made. And we can make a custom suit for under $1,000, even in 2024. I mean, it's just kind of amazing. Like, you wouldn't think that you could do that, but I'm really proud to work for a company that we've figured out a way to do that, because that helps someone who's maybe not in the boardroom yet, or they're working up the ladder in their career, but they'd still like to have something personalized for them. So that's really great for someone who wants to get into custom clothing, but they're not ready to just go all in quite yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So something I thought of while you were talking is the remeasuring, because I know initially we did a measurement, but how often do you have to do a full remeasure, or is it up to the client's discretion, or do you do a couple checks, during your, I guess this is on appointments, 2, 3, 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, appointments 2, 3, 4, I'm just going to check 4 or 5 basic measurements of you. Yeah, just the real simple ones that are kind of the high points, if you will. Of course, if you were to text me or call me and say, hey, I love my last batch of shirts, let's do 4 more, let's do 2 whites and 2 blues, and I love how they fit, so you don't need to change anything. Well, that's just over a text to call. We can submit that order, no problem. But if you lost 20 pounds, and I would want to check all your measurements, we'll go through the whole thing, and it won't take 5 minutes to do that, but it's really helpful, because then you're guaranteed to get a great fit, and we want to make sure that we give you that best concierge and full service experience. Because there's no reason to give you a garment that we would all know wouldn't fit. So that's part of the agreement that I would have with clients is, if you lose weight, please let me know, because I want to give you clothes that fit. So
that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so also on, speaking of like upgrades and like kind of those customization pieces, I know we did a couple on the shirt, but kind of give the audience some of the different options that they have for those customization pieces.
Yeah, so like your shirt's a great example. You chose the navy blue buttons, you chose a different color button thread on the buttonholes, and then you also chose a monogram on the cuff. So those are just 3 simple features that highlight a shirt, that change it, that make it look a little more unique, especially when you're not wearing a tie. On jackets, there's other features like craft stitching on the lapels. We can do fun liners on the inside. We can even do a fully custom liner. You have 3 kids, right?
So I've seen, so you have a jacket with your kids' pictures, don't you, on the inside?
Which is probably the most popular, right? I mean, you can take a picture of your car, but I mean, you're already driving that. You know what that looks like, but why not have a great memory of your kids, of how they looked when they were a baby? It's right on the inside of your jacket, and it just brings a smile to your face every time you open it up, or if you show it to someone else when you take it off. It just starts a conversation, right? And it's a really great memory to have and carry with you. And there's just a number of other features as far as, how do we line the pants, or do we put a cuff on them, or no cuff? And so even some of the things that may seem simple make them unique as well.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
Yeah.
And then, so keeping with, Tulsa is home, the theme of supporting small business here in Tulsa, and not necessarily even just small, but just business in general in Tulsa, the economy, and just helping connect and give a platform for people and business owners. So the question I like to ask is, what makes Tulsa home for you?
For us, I think there's just, it's probably a general statement to say there's so much to do, right? But there is so much to do. And it's a great education for our kids. There are private schools. There's great public schools. Where there's a number of churches if you want to be involved with that, which we are. And there's just so many other things to do. Maybe it's nightlife, restaurants. I mean, Tulsa really is kind of the best of both worlds. I grew up in the Dallas area and still love Dallas, have friends and family there. But at the same time, I've always felt like Tulsa had a little more history than Dallas. There's a little bit more of a deep-rooted sense of community because people from Tulsa want to stay in Tulsa. And I love being here and meeting someone who's lived here and they're like a 4th or 5th generation Tulsan. And I find, how great is that someone wants to continue building their business and their life in Tulsa as their home. And I just feel blessed to be here. And my wife's from Tulsa. And so it's great to watch her. And now we're raising our kids in Tulsa. And it's such a great place to be. So yeah, it's a great place to raise your family, as people say.
It's very true.
Very cliche, right?
Yeah, but very true.
Yeah.
And then also we talked about your when you came on the show, you're generous to give our viewers and people who mention Tulsa's home, or they saw this interview, that you'd give them a free upgrade of some kind. And so I just wanted to touch on that and see, get the details of that so that way they know. Yeah,
there are some features that do cost a little extra when you're adding on to either a suit or a sport coat or even a shirt. And so, like, we're talking about the buttons, the thread colors, and the monogram. I would easily offer that to someone who mentions Tulsa is home, because that's something that they spent their time to watch and to reach out. And if they're looking at getting something customized, that'd be an honor to be able to help them out too. And on a jacket, if they don't do those features on the shirts, then we could open up to maybe some horn buttons on the jacket, functional buttonholes, or even the craft stitching on the lapel. So yeah, we could talk when we meet, but there's certainly some upgrade options that I would be more than happy to offer.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate that. And then in closing, what's the best way for people to reach out to you? Is it a cell phone, an email, a website, social media?
All those things, right? I mean, I check them daily, but there's a link on our website actually where you can just type in Jared Conway in Tulsa, and you can find my bio, but then also just click contact, and it'll send me an email once you fill out your information, and I'll contact you within the same day, and we'll set up an appointment. So,
all right.
Simple.
That sounds great. Well, thanks for watching the episode, and or if you're on audio listening to it. Again, we're here with Jared Conway with Tom James, and I really appreciate your time this morning, and I look forward to doing more business with you. Absolutely.
Good to see you.